Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. If you don't know it, we're on the YouTube channel, the New Life Live YouTube channel. When I say we, I'm talking about Dr. Sheri Keffer, and we were just at the break here before the program talking about her husband, Kyle. And what I was talking about her husband, Kyle, about was the fact that he represents a lot of people that don't like what they're doing in life. And at age 52, he says, I think I'll become a therapist.
Yeah, he reinvented himself, which takes so much courage, right? When so many people at that age are starting to fear retirement and what am I going to do? And am I going to have the funds I need to carry my family through this next 15, 20 years? But really, he faced his fear, and he had to take some preliminary classes and then got into a program, and he is loving what he's doing, going from IT to now sitting and helping people find their heart, and works a lot in the sex addiction, helping guys recover from sexual addictions and compulsivity. So who would have thunk, right,
Yeah.
that would happen? But you can reinvent yourself, whether you are a therapist or a coach, or you end up opening your own online business. There are so many opportunities right now, but you just have to take that one step and face your fear in order to do it. It's possible.
It's so true, and I would just say that in Kyle's case, you know, he had an idea, he followed through. And he didn't just come in under the wire. I mean, the guy's thriving. People are seeking him out. And that might be you. You know, you might decide, I don't have time to do that. Well, maybe it'll take you 10 years to do it. But at the end of 10 years, here you are. And you don't just have to become a therapist. You could be a coach. A lot of different things that you could do. I want to encourage you. Think about, who do I want to be? Doesn't matter what degree you got. It's so easy to get another degree.
Well, and it's funny, when we met, a lot of people don't know this, but when we met, he had gone through a divorce and was at probably his lowest point in his life, was sharing a room with his son, Coleman. And he was on unemployment. So he was at a tough time, but he had such character. And, you know, I was on my dating journey thanks to you and Henry Cloud challenging me to date the 20 men. But during that period of time, I watched him move from being on unemployment to being in classes to starting to do an internship. And to watch a man dig himself out of a very big hole to recreate himself told me a lot about who he is. And
here's a question for you. How does a PhD with a successful practice date a guy that's unemployed on unemployment and know that this was not, his future? You
have to ask that question, right? Because I really was looking for somebody to partner well with me, and I didn't know. But our first conversations were really what I had with other men. I was really trying to find out their level of integrity. And I asked some tough questions about sexual acting out and porn, and he stayed credible. And I think that because I watched him, I felt that he had integrity, and I watched him take care of himself and his son and do the right things. His stage in life became less important to me than the person I saw staring me right in the face, and I thought, this guy is worth fighting for and worth waiting for. So I did, and here we are, 7 years later. God does do miracles.
Yeah. And he really is a great example. 1-800-229-3000 if you want to join us. Come on.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife within 2 hours. You could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, February 6th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Dr. Sheri Keffer. She is the author of Intimate Deception, and I am wearing big black glasses because I had eye surgery and I can't see a thing without them. Anyway, let me encourage you to call us right now at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask about the Emotional Freedom Workshop. Chris Williams and I are doing this. Now, look, a lot of you have hit a wall here in the new year. You thought everything's going to be great, and it hasn't been. And you'd like to grow in spite of the fact that you haven't achieved all those resolutions you wanted to implement and stuff. Well, that just shows you had a little limitation there you didn't know about. But what if you could discover which emotion is the one that's the most in control of your life? Is it shame, anger, regret? What is that feeling that has really overcome your life? And what are the symptoms of it? Is it procrastination, overachieving, distancing yourself from everybody? And what if we could help you with that? And then you'd never have to wonder what the problem was, but you'd have a plan to deal with it. We've had so many people experience emotional freedom. Wow, what an amazing experience it is, where you were locked up, tied up, and now you're free. You call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Whatever you're dealing with, this is the one for you.
And you know what? It's amazing, Steve, what y'all can do in a day. Here, when you're really focused with the right question and you're in a group process where you're hearing your own heart and you're hearing others' hearts, it's like getting out of barbed wire and really starting to move afresh in a new way. So if you haven't experienced the Finding Freedom Workshop, why wait another day, another month, another year? Just come and do it and see what goods you'll walk away with.
Well, let me give you an example. My wife is so wise, and sometimes that's extremely painful. But the other day she said something which I think all of us ought to hear. She said, Steve, the problem is your solution to your problem. How many times is our solution the problem? We think we've got the right solution, and we don't. We don't have it. So we've got to be willing to listen to somebody else say, maybe it's this solution. Just that right there is such a humble place to begin again. Well, let's go to the phones, 1-800-229-3000. And I would like to talk with Sue, Dallas, Texas. Fabulous station, KWRD. Hello, Sue. How are you?
Hi, sir. I'm fine, thank you.
How can we help you today? What's going on?
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of information. So I've been married 26 years, and I've always had a good job, a good, paying job as an executive assistant. And I recently, my husband and I've been married 26 years. My husband and I had been having some issues and had an argument. I had been working from home remotely since March of 2020, and my husband was working from home as well. One morning we had an altercation, argument, and I just felt like, for some reason I didn't feel safe. So I took my laptop, I left. I went to the mall to get onto free Wi-Fi, sit there, and be able to get onto my Zoom call with my team. Well, when I did that, I didn't realize that the Zoom was going to show the mall in the background. And my boss and a couple of people were like, oh, what's that? And I was caught totally off guard. I was ashamed. I didn't want to say why I was there. I said, oh, I'm at my sister's house. And, you know, they kind of were quiet. They were like, that, you know. So in my mind, I knew they didn't believe me. So we went on with a meeting and everything. And at noon every day, my boss and I would have a meeting. We talked, and he's like, you know, you weren't at the mall. You can tell me what's going on. You can trust me what's going on. Where were you at? I said, no. I said, I wasn't at my sister's. I was at the mall. I said, because my husband and I had an argument, and I felt like I needed to leave the house, but yet still be on my team call, be available for my job. So he's like, okay, well, fine. He's like, well, you know, I still don't believe you, because I told him that, you know, we had an argument. He's like, well, I don't believe you. So a few days later, I got an email from my boss saying he's going to have to tell HR. And he told HR, and then on that Thursday, my boss and the HR lady called me and said they were going to have to separate from me and that I was going to be fired because I lied. And I said, but I came clean. I told my boss what the situation was. So then they're like, well,
okay, let's get to how we can help you pretty quick now, okay?
Oh, okay. So I was fired. So I lied to my boss or to my husband for a month because I was embarrassed. I finally told him the other day, and he just blows up at me and goes off and just goes off. And so he tells his mom, you know, well, she got fired. And, you know, he told her without actually asking me how I felt about him talking to her about it. So he talked to her about something that I didn't want him to talk to her about yet.
All right.
And
so what's the
anyway.
question for us then? How could we help you?
So the question is, was my husband wrong or right for telling his mom about my situation without talking to me first?
Okay, I have a thought or two, but I want to hear from Sheri first, because a lot of times she has a deeper thought. So we'll start with her. What do you think, Sheri?
So, hey, Sue, first off, I'm sorry about the embarrassment that you felt on the heels of fear. You know, Steve opened the program today, and he said that there's typically one thing that overshadows our life, you know, and he threw out a few words. What's interesting is I'm listening to you. I think the one word that overshadows your life is shame.
Yes.
Shame. Shame is this feeling of I'm not good enough, or I need to hide myself. I can't be honest in the moment. I can't be real. I can't be authentic. Because if I'm authentic, if I'm real, if I'm honest about where I'm at, I fear I'm going to be judged. And so that shame prompted you to lie. And not only to lie, bless your heart, to your boss, you didn't realize they could see the background. I mean, that's how overwhelmed you were with shame, that you forgot, like, that people can see what's going on your computer. And then you had such shame over being fired that you lied to your husband. So now you're hurting because he is exposing your shame to his mom. And you're saying, stop, this hurts. I'm feeling shame inside of me, and now I'm hearing and observing somebody else share my shame with somebody else. So if I could ask a question to you, what is it about you that feels pressured to be perfect, to be flawless?
Because I've always had to be that way ever since I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. Oh. I've always had to be the one to be the savior and make sure everything's okay. I'm a very codependent person, unfortunately, and that's what it is. I've always felt like I needed to show that I'm okay, that I have this under control and do everything that's right.
Wow.
And so that's what it is. It's my whole life. My whole life I've been that way.
So guess what? You just did. You were so brave to have incredible insight to say, hey, all my life, since I was a little girl, I feel like I've had to hold things together. I've had to be perfect. I've had to be on it. And do you know that's driving you right now to behave in ways that are not helping you heal? Like the solution that Steve talked about, Misty said, the problem is the solution. Your solution is, I got to just pretend. I got to fake it. I got to lie to make my way through, instead of the opposite solution is, I can just be real. I can just be honest about what's happening and that I'm scared out of my mind.
I'm thinking as Sheri's talking, Sue, I would like you to admit to yourself, because of all this, you're not a very good liar. Could we just admit that, right?
Right.
It didn't work very well. And here's what I think. If you could get beyond this shame that Sheri's talking about and get beyond your go-to, which is cover up so that I don't have to feel more shame, you could spend your time on how can I be truthful? Because here's what you could have said. Oh, I just had to get out of the house, and, well, here it was time, and so here I am at the mall. You didn't have to say you were in an argument or anything. You just needed to say, oh, I just had to get out of the house. They didn't know why. Could have been too hot, too cold, whatever. And so there are ways to tell the truth and not hedge on the truth and be a truthful person with good boundaries, realizing that nobody has a right to know that you and your husband had an argument or that you're not where you say you are. You just say, I'm at the mall. I just had to get out of the house, and here I am. Let them wonder why you're out of the house. But my point is, if you're focused on you're focused on covering the shame, and you don't even know you're doing it, you're figuring out ways to deceive, to cover up, to look better, and it's always going to get you in trouble. And I think you've got this whole other issue of disconnection with your husband. But if you're not honest with your husband, how can he connect with you? He can't. Now, I'm sure he's got a lot of problems, and I think it's sad that he has some need to increase your shame by telling your mother. But I just think maybe if you got a little encouragement going, or do you go to a codependency group? You said you're codependent.
I do not. I need to find one, but I will find one.
Well, see, that would be a great thing to say to him. I realize I've got to make some changes here. And this is what I'm going to do, and you do that, then maybe you're giving him a chance to respond to that. Not quickly, but over time he'll see a different person, and then you might be so connected to him, the last thing he would want to do is make you look bad in front of his mom. He'd be praising you for the changes that you decided you needed to make.
What I learned in my 12-step CODA group, Sue, is this. I learned how to say, I was really afraid that if you knew I got fired, you would be disappointed. I was really scared to tell you. I thought that it would make you mad. You would be disappointed, hurt. I would let you down. All those kind of I statements that are really declarations of truth and authenticity is how I learned how to be more real and authentic even today. So, girl, you go get the goods. You go get your 12-step and think about coming to our Finding Freedom workshop, because I think there's some really good work that can happen there for you.
Yeah, and here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back, and I think that's going to be a help. I'll send you the Emotional Freedom Workbook also, and I'd love to hear back from you to see if maybe there's some way that this call is the beginning of you and your husband having a new experience together based on commitment, honesty, and a change here. Well, before we go to a break, I want to welcome some brand new listeners. It's our newest affiliate, Pure Radio 91.9 FM, Evansville, Indiana. And we love the fact that we're on here with 91.9 FM. Can't wait to get some phone calls from way down there in the south of Indiana. God bless you, and thank you, Tom Hoyt, getting us on that station, Pure Radio. Don't you love the title? Pure Radio, because it's all about the pure truth of Jesus Christ. If you need some help, you call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. You can find out about the Emotional Freedom online workshop coming right up. I think you're going to love this. You'll be shocked at how much change can take place in a very, very short length of time. So you call us, we'll tell you all about it. And then also, you know, we've got another Every Man's Battle coming up here, February the 6th. Boy, I'll tell you, people are changing their lives. The 13th, we're doing Intimacy in Marriage on Valentine's weekend. What a great way to start a new year.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, February 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I turned on New Life, and the topic that day was about anxiety. And just by listening, I got relief.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Growth Has No Boundaries by Drs. John Townsend and Henry Cloud, Take Your Life Back by Steve Arterburn and Dr. Dave Stoop, and the Emotional Freedom Workbook. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn. You're really glad that you're with us here today. If you need any kind of help, it's 1-800-NEW-LIFE, or you go to the website, newlife.com. Watch the program on the YouTube channel, New Life Live YouTube channel, or download the app. You can hear it anytime, any place, anywhere. I'm on with Dr. Sheri Keffer. She is the author of Intimate Deception. And Sheri, in 30 seconds to 60 seconds, or however long you want to take, who would benefit from this book, Intimate Deception?
Yeah, so the book, Intimate Deception, Healing the Wounds of Sexual Betrayal, is written for anybody who's experienced hurt and pain from their boyfriend, their husband, who has sexually acted out in some way. Could be through pornography, could be through affairs, prostitutes, whatever, but typically there's a point of discovery. There you discover something that is so painful you didn't know about, which reveals the sexual acting out. And my book is a complete guide for how you can start from point A of discovery and move through your process of healing, not only so that you can heal well, because a lot of us heal broken if we don't heal well, but so that your family can find healing, so your spouse can get into appropriate treatment. And, you know, as every woman that I'm reaching through my book, I'm really working to pull that whole family out of this dark world of sexual betrayal and acting out.
And probably the biggest reason to get it is that while you think it'll never happen again, you need healing, you need insight, or it will happen again. All right, let's go to Mark. Chesapeake Bay, I think it is. Is that right? Chesapeake Bay, Mark? Is that where you're from? Mark, are you on? Mark isn't on. Well, it must be. Maybe we'll come back to Mark here in a little bit. Let's go to, how about Denise, Orlando, Florida. Denise, are you there?
I am here.
How can we help you today? And how is it there in Orlando?
It's beautiful.
Wonderful.
It's sunny, and there's a little breeze, and it's beautiful.
Oh, good for you.
All right, so what's going on in your life that would make you call a Christian radio talk show?
Well, I am dealing with, as a divorced mother with 2 children who, I just feel it's not a verb, but ungrateful. They thank Dad for everything, and he abandoned them. And it just, I haven't told them all the ways he has abandoned them. Like 30 years later, I still haven't told. And they, on Father's Day, they put up on Facebook, "Oh, we're so grateful to Dad. He taught us everything, and he did so much for us." And he didn't. If he was around, he wouldn't take them to dance class. He wouldn't enrich their. I mean, I'm so grateful that he wanted to be there for them and everything. And to this day, I say he wasn't so great, but he did his best, and I wasn't so great, but I did my best. And
okay, I got a question for you.
So tell me,
I have a question for you.
Bitter mother. Okay, ready.
Okay. So before you ask your question about bitter mothers, here is the question. When your children post things like that on Father's Day, do they know it hurts you or not know it hurts you? In other words, are they intentionally driving an ice pick through your heart, or are they unaware of the impact that is having on you? Which one do you think it is?
I don't know.
You know why you don't know?
Tell me.
Well, you never told them how you feel when you see it.
I did yesterday.
What did you do? What did you say?
I said that it, how could they put things up on Facebook on Father's Day and thank Dad for everything and not put anything up on Mother's Day? Like, why is that fair?
Well, that's not telling them how you feel. That's asking them what they're thinking.
Good point.
How did it make you feel when you? How does it make you? How does it make you feel when they post stuff on Father's Day that isn't really true, and they don't even acknowledge you on Mother's Day? How does that make you feel?
Ungrateful.
Yeah, but how does it make you feel like they're ungrateful? But how do you feel as a human being inside when you've worked so hard and he hasn't, and he gets all this credit?
Your last call, you mentioned what's a one-word description, and so this is part of that, which would be like invisible, like abandoned. Who I am isn't important.
There you go. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that when we come back, okay?
Thank you so much.
And I want you to know, I'm so sorry. This isn't uncommon to see this happen. And I'm so sorry that it is.
I'm hoping that your answer will help all of us out here.
Oh, our answers are always helpful. Not necessarily the person we're talking to, but to somebody they would be helpful. Anyway, we'll give you some help the best we can. Right after this, you're listening to New Life Live.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made it. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. We're talking with Denise, who, one of these, she said it, doesn't want to be a bitter mom. These kids. How old are your kids, and how many are there that are giving him all the credit for things he never did?
2 girls in their late 30s.
2 girls, late 30s. Well, I'm going to turn this over to Sheri. She's in her late 30s, and I think she can really relate to whatever they're going through there.
Oh, Denise, my heart hurts for you as I'm hearing what's going on currently. And I feel like I talked to your sister a while back, and not in real life, but I just wanted to ask you a question because it sounds so similar. When you think back to when you were growing up, and I promise you I'll come back to your girls and your former husband, but when you think back to growing up, did you feel seen or heard or known then? I'm getting a sense that maybe you had a parent, and it might have even been your mom, who was a busy mom, worked, didn't really nurture you. Like you ended up being somewhat on your own and not seen or cared for in a way that you needed. Can you let me know if any of that?
Sure. I grew up, both my parents, well, my father worked in New York, and my mom was at home, but she never spent time with us. Both my sister and I were to be smart, athletic, perform in a certain way, and who knows who you are and who cares.
Yeah, totally get it. Now, let me thank you for being so honest.
No, I wanted to go opposite that with my kids, if I ever had them, and I did, and say, who are you? I love you. I appreciate you. How can I develop what's in you and, within my abilities?
And that didn't happen. And let me explain a little bit of what.
It did. It did. They what they do now is, I had a small bed and breakfast, and they have guests in their 2 businesses. They cook, they have a few different jobs, We had horses.
But let me do this.
Competed with horses, and they do all of that now. So everything that I taught them, they're using.
Well, I think you might be missing something here.
So good for you as a parent. It's amazing when we look back to where we came from, how we can even have kids that end up thriving more than we did. But this is the heart of the matter. So you had a dad that worked in New York, worked out of state, wasn't maybe around as much, and then you had a mom.
Well, I grew up an hour from New York, so.
Okay. So then you had a mom who didn't spend time with you. She felt kind of maybe alone in her marriage. So while you had an intact family, you were not getting nurtured, poured into. If I were to give you a picture of a pot and I would put a plant in it, I would say, you know what? You were not watered well. You were not watered well. So instead of growing and thriving and like your roots drawing from the ground and your leaves flourishing emotionally, relationally, you grew up with kind of some limpy leaves in light of knowing that you were loved and seen and cared for. Then you get married and you and your husband divorce early on. And you were frustrated that he wasn't, much like your dad and your mom, wasn't watering your marriage well, wasn't watering your relationship well. Instead of those issues being addressed, the divorce happened. And you have held on to some hurt and resentment over the fact that you were not being watered well in your marriage, and you weren't watered well growing up in your family of origin. That's called complex. Mm-hmm. That's called complex trauma, complex post-traumatic stress. So now there's this hole in your heart that is wanting, wishing, longing, hoping for those words of affirmation. And it's hard for you to even celebrate them affirming their dad because you're still somewhat feeling like a limp, unwatered plant. And so with that comes unconscious demands emotionally. We make demands on others. It's kind of anger plus demands equals bitterness. Anger about what you didn't get and demands on current situation is going to leave you bitter, my dear. The place that I would have you go and really do some work is when we've been emotionally abandoned by others and then we have a marriage where that happened, we end up not nurturing ourselves. We end up abandoning ourselves. We don't even know how to get in touch with our heart. And you're looking out there, you're looking outside for everybody else to meet your needs in here. But you don't know how to meet your own needs. You don't know how to care for yourself and get what you're longing for. And that is deep work.
Well, that's kind of where I am, except that where I am now is whether they do that or not, do they want to be that kind of person?
Okay, but you know what? You know what you did with me right now? You focus back on them. You focus back on them. I'm asking you to focus in on you. Do you want to be that kind of person? Because as long as you make demands, as long as you hold those expectations, as long as you're bitter, as long as you're angry, you know what you're going to do? You're going to push people away. They're not going to move towards that wilted plant and want to be around you. They're going to go towards the one who's kinder, not the one who's disappointed. But the reason you're where you're at, my dear, is because you've got untreated wounds. And you need to see them, and you need to do some deep work with somebody like myself. We've got a ton of new life counselors, and I know that there's somebody in Orlando area who could help you start unpacking this so that you can start watering yourself and then being grateful when others water you. But our demands keep people distant. They can feel you.
Any of that making any sense there? Because it's almost, and this is really bizarre, it's almost like you can become too centered on being present and real and wanting to connect and all, when here's Dad over here, fun, superficial, not wanting to relive the past, not wanting, and they can kind of be drawn to that versus being drawn into an emotional drama that might be going on within you. And is it fair? No. It's just what happens so often. But you can change it. So what's the best thing, Sheri, to get into?
Yeah, some work. And then it's going to mean, girl, you do some grief work. In fact, Steve, I might even have you send her the workbook you created on grief, because when we're stuck in bitterness and entitlement or demands, there's a ton of tears and a ton of hurt and a ton of unresolved pain that we haven't fully grieved about. And that's why we're still demanding that it get repaired. So I want you to stay on the line and we'll get you with a therapist. But Steve's going to send you a copy of the grief workbook he did.
Yeah, we've got a workbook. I'll send you a Life Recovery Bible right along with it. I'm really glad that you called and let us go a little deeper here with you. But, we talk about this pandemic of COVID. I got to tell you, there's another pandemic, and it is the pandemic of ungrieved losses, especially in the Christian community. And so Dave Stoop and I put together this resource to try to get the pandemic of ungrieved loss taken care of. Here's the scheme. You grieve the loss, and that grief process is a gift from God that allows you to let go. You grieve it, you embrace what you have, and then you're free to move forward. The other way to do it is don't grieve it. Drag that through your life. Nobody wants to go through that with you all the time, compensating for it, and you feel abandoned, more loss, more stuff that doesn't get grieved. You just get angry that the history is being repeated over and over again. Your solution can change. And we can help you do that. You call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Maybe you need to get a Life Recovery Bible and the grief workbook and go through that. And at the end of 12 big, bold steps, you find yourself free. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need a resource. If you want to help us, we'd love that. 1-800-NEWLIFE. We'll be back in a minute.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Sheri Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, February 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and we love getting to be here with you. Please tell a friend about us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need to help on where we're on. But, you know, we're always on Sirius XM channel 131 at 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 Pacific time. We're always there. And I don't know if Larry Sonnenberg's coming in today or not. Do you know, Sheri?
He's not here, but I know Mark's in the house. I just ran out to go see if Mark was ready to go.
Well, let's go talk to Mark then. We tried earlier, didn't Mark, are you there from Chesapeake Bay, I think?
Yeah.
How are you? Hi, Mark.
Oh, doing all right, Steve. How's it going?
Good. How can we help you today? We're glad we got back with you. What's going on?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I was making sure my mic was good. I'm doing all right. I would just like to say, y'all do a good job, man. I listen to y'all all the time, and I guess I would say every trainer needs a trainer, just like every counselor needs a counselor. So it's like,
amen.
You know, I kind of look up, you know, because I know all the times you might have bad days, just like vice versa. Your wife has bad days, and like can't do it by yourself.
That's right. Well, tell us how we could help you today.
Yeah.
How can we help?
So this phone, I guess I'd like to put it in perspective of, well, Steve, if you were me, kind of like, what would you do? And I need help with my mom and sister. But if your mom, you were separated from your mom about the age of 2. You were separated from your mom and dad around the age of 2 due to drug activity or whatever.
Yeah.
So you had split custody with your grandma on your mom's side, and your sister, you know, went with her family on the other side.
Yeah.
For about all the way up to middle school. And so you get back with your parents, you know, then right around college, your father passes away because of alcohol addiction and his past history with heroin. So now it's a single mother household. You know, you're on your way to college. You know, you make it through college, and then your mom's mom, well, your grandma on your mom's side, she dies, but you still make it through. So right around your junior year in college, you join the military just because of the situation that you're in. So when you join the military, your mom gets sicker because she's spiritually attached to you as the mom, which sometimes it does happen.
We don't have a lot of time, so we want you to get to the issue here really quick. So tell us what the situation is.
So right now, like, kid, just I live with my mom. I'm a caregiver for her. I come in the house. She works days. Sometimes I work nights. As you know, early 30s, I kind of like, want to have my own life.
Sure.
Just being around her all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not trying to be selfish.
No.
Would you try to go ahead?
No, I'm affirming what you're saying here, But Sheri, go ahead and let's help him. We don't have a lot of time.
First off, Mark, I want to say you, my friend, are an amazingly resilient human being.
Absolutely.
Like I wanted to stand up. I wanted to stand up and I wanted to clap because you have.
I know we don't have a lot of time. But
I know.
Fine.
I know. But is it hard? Do you know I'm applauding your heart, and I'm applauding this really tough journey.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But maybe the reason you've wanted to talk to Steve is because even me as a female might feel overwhelming to you, because you.
No,
You have been.
I don't mind talking to both of y'all.
Okay, but let me say this. You have been overwhelmed by your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And if there were two things I would give you, and I think you have done an amazing job, but I think you do need to start living your life for you. There's a book out there, and it's by the guy by the name of Dr. Ken Adams. He has a similar story to you, but his book is called Married to Mom. And I don't say that in any kind. Thank you. That was good. That laugh said everything, because his story is about.
But Steve, the funny thing is, I mean, I love my mom to death, but to be honest, I'm not really a mom's boy. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying like
hey,
some
how
people,
about
like me? I always like.
You're responsible. You're a responsible guy. You've learned to follow orders. You were in the military, and we're saying, good job, but that's not your job forever. So let's start developing a plan where you can be free of her without tomorrow walking in and saying, I'm out of here, I'm moving to an apartment, you're on your own. Because that's not going to help either.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's what I feel. Well, Steve, I feel like me, my mom, and my sister, we should all have a counseling session to make us all stronger. Because
great idea.
You know, being a young male in the being the middle puzzle, Steve, it's kind of like I'm in the pickle, man. You know, so I feel like we should all just, all be accord of what's going on.
But that's,
even though, as a young man, we always get pressure.
I know,
like,
but
you're
that's
the man of the family, okay?
So let me add something, because that's what you've always done, is tried to keep everything together. But I want you to stay on the line. I want us to find you a male therapist, a male therapist in your area that is going to help you create a plan to detach, stay connected to your mom, but actually move out of the house to become your own person. And I want you to get Dr. Ken Adams' book, Married to Mom, and then I want you to go to Adult Children of Alcoholics support group. Have you heard of that? It's a 12-step group. It's for adult children of alcoholics. And between that and Al-Anon, you're going to find in Adult Children of Alcoholics, you're going to find some other folks that have had to do exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you called, and I'm going to send you the Emotional Freedom Workbook. I'm going to send you a Life Recovery Bible that's going to help you in this whole codependency thing. So much of that Bible is for people not with addiction, but codependency. Glad you called, and I hope that you take this as some direction on it's time for you not to be the man in the family, but to be the man that God called you to be. Larry Sonnenberg's a man that God called him to be, and are we ever grateful? Larry, tell us what you've got to tell us today. Thanks for joining us here.
That's okay. I just want to remind folks again, I'm going to read some excerpts from a testimony real quick, just to encourage support. It was because of New Life I ever knew about the book Boundaries that helped me defend myself against my abusive father. As a former family therapist, I've recommended that anxious or depressed persons listen to New Life daily to understand that many people have difficulties in life, but God can be in the healing for each one of them. Over and over through the years, New Life has suggested a book, brought in a guest, shared a verse, or simply been friendly, familiar voices for me to grow and find calm in an unsettling world, and just goes on to share what a family we feel like to her, and we love that. That's what we want to do for you folks. That's what we're doing. If you can support that, please support us this month. You can call us. You can go online. You can send a check. But we will appreciate it. We'll send you the journal, the New Life Journal, and we will be full of thanks. So God bless you and thank you.
Thank you, Larry. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. If you can help us, we'll send you this New Life Journal. I recommend Sheri's book, Intimate Deception. We talked about that. Emotional Freedom Workbook. The Grief Workbook with the Life Recovery Bible. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Call us. Let us help.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again on Monday for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.